First off, I want to, from bottom of my heart, welcome and thank you all for partaking in celebration of Rosha and Josh. I am grateful for this closest circle of family and friends. Your warm presence make this night beautiful and memorable. A special welcome to Grandma Sally and Vito Fidencio. Thinking about tonight, I could not help remembering my mom and dad and how much they would have wanted to see this night. The same goes with my in-laws, Josh's grandparents, and Vita, who are no longer with us. However, they're here in our hearts. Rosha John, my daughter, my treasured friend. It always has been and always will be an honor and absolute joy to be your mom. You light up any room just by being in it. I tried to choose a memory of bringing up Rosha to talk about tonight. Not an easy thing to do, as each that I thought about was better than the previous one. However, I want to touch on Rosha's trademark. While growing up, her love for writing and drawing. Ever since she was able to write until going to high school, there were not that many days that she missed writing an illustrative letter or a note to me. They were all about love, kindness, and compassion. She would make coupon book for me to use when I need her help and so on. I have kept some of them, and I actually brought a couple with me. Okay, here is one little one. She made this heart that is folded, and it says, "Mom, open me. Roses are red, violets are blue. There is no one as sweet as you." Here is another one. She wrote in it, "Dear Mom, I love you very much. Well, gotta go, bye." And so on. So I'm just gonna not talk anymore about it, so. Okay, where was I? Okay. I want to say to you, Rosha John, thank you for the wonderful memories you gave me. The time of caring for you and watching you grow from a chubby little ball of joy to a wonderful person you have become. I have to say tonight, I am forgetting the pain of bringing up a Taurus teenager and how painful it sometimes was dealing with the Taurus stubbornness. Rosha John, I'm beyond word proud of all your accomplishments and feel blessed to be your mom. But most of all, I'm grateful for being the person that you are, the path you have taken in your life, and the fine man you have chosen to be along your side in life. Josh John, I'm overjoyed that you are part of our family. It warms my heart to see how happy you and Rosha are together. I'll tell you a short story. A few years ago, Rosha and I were having tea at work. The alarm on her phone went off. So I asked her what it was. She said, "Josh thinks I don't drink enough water." So he set the alarm on my phone to remind me to drink water. At that moment, I thought to myself, okay, he's a keeper. Never underestimate the significance of little things done out of a large heart of love. By enjoying the simple things in life, you can create a peaceful mind, and you can do great things in life with that peaceful mind. Josh John, thank you for loving Rosha. I am giving her hand to you. I know no matter what life brings on, you two care for each other and take care of each other with patience and love. I wish you both all the happiness that life has to offer, and my love is with you both always. I want to pass on with you both a treasured value in life. Give good out to the world. In being good to people, you will get the reward of having a peaceful heart. At the end, I leave you with a one-line poem from the famous Iranian poet Jalaluddin Rumi. It says, when you do things from your soul, you feel a river in you, a joy. Let's celebrate this joyful night. Thank you.
Parveen, that was amazing. Thank you so much. And when Parveen was speaking, my allergies were kicking up. Did anybody else have that happen? My eyes were like watering. I got choked up. It's all the Bermuda grass. It grows at the base of Camelback Mountain. So the DJ introduced me. This beautiful band. They're amazing. They really got the party started. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited for the rest of the night, but we'll get through this stuff, and then it's dance time. Anyway, so yeah, my name is Isaac Chavez. I am the older brother of the groom. I'm the newest brother of the bride, and I'm the favorite golf partner of the bride's brother. Parveen kind of covered this, but thank you to everybody from the Chavez side for traveling so far. I know some of you came from across country, New York, New Jersey, Seattle, Northern California, Vancouver. So I know it's a lot to travel so far for such an amazing event. Thank you. So I have been thinking about this moment since I was a little kid. It's kind of weird. Like I really thought about it like too much when I was young. I was like, Josh is gonna get married someday, and I'm gonna have to come up here and speak in front of everybody. And I didn't know who it was back then, and I'm really happy for who it's with now. I will say I didn't always know that I was gonna be the best man. I wasn't sure. If you'd have asked Josh after we surprised him with a trip on his 21st birthday to Telluride, it was epic. A few of you were there. It was fun. Yeah. He would have said yes, for sure. But then if you would have asked him after I failed to heal a large dash on his forehead by using super glue and then gluing my thumb to his forehead, he can tell you more about that story. I think you would have said no. But here we are. I think it all worked out in the end. So thanks, Josh. Oh, all right. So here we are at one of the most beautiful properties in Arizona. You all have very good taste. Surrounded by our friends and family. And sitting next to Josh is the most beautiful bride a man could ever dream of. You know what I'm not going to do in this moment? I'm not going to make fun of Josh for the 1,000 hilarious things he's done over the last 30 years. Okay? I'm not going to make fun of him for breaking the clutch in my dad's Toyota after driving it for a week. I'm not going to make fun of him for shanking a drive so badly it shot to the left and hit a brand new Jeep that was driving by on Hayden Road last month. And I'm definitely not going to make fun of Josh for getting beat by a girl in one of his first karate sparring matches. Hey, she was a really strong 12-year-old. I'm not here to make those jokes. I'm here to honor my brother. Oh, allergies, oh my God. So I'd like to tell you a few things that I've learned about Josh over our life together. This guy loves unconditionally. As an older brother, I love him to death. I've made mistakes. I've made him mad. I've done things, I've said things, and he always forgives, and he always continues. Something that's really special about him. He will always be a rock. He's been a rock in our brotherhood, he's been a rock to our family, and he's gonna be a rock in your marriage. I can promise you that. He's not just smart, he's wise. If you take some time to talk to Josh, it's amazing how thoughtful he is in every conversation he has. There's been moments throughout our life growing up where he's really blown me away. It's like there is a 65-year-old man that lives in his soul, and it comes out at the craziest times, and you're just sitting there in awe as he speaks. It's really impressive, and I admire you for that. He's one of the hardest working men I know. He'll always work hard for you and your family. He'll always be a provider. Josh has you know this, but Josh has an amazing group of friends. The boys over there, come on. Yeah, they're a good time, and they're really cool if you haven't had a chance to talk to them. He was raised by two amazing parents, Ann and Ray Chavez. We love you guys. But I won't forget, Josh and myself, we were raised by a village. We were raised by the Chavezes, the Reveres, the Brambillas. We were raised by the Schleikers, by the Brills, by the Winkelmeyers. They've always been by our side, and Rosha, I think you realize this by now, we're very family-oriented, and that's why, when I was introduced to the Persian culture, I felt a deep connection because it's so similar to where we came from. On that topic, Rosha Josh, AKA my part-time therapist, AKA my silent shaman. The Chavez family finally gets the daughter we've always dreamed of. I officially get the sister I've always wanted. We've already collected countless memories together. Nights on the couch watching you dominate in speed or Roomy Cube. Laughing with you at anyone who thinks they have a chance to beat you. All the trips we've taken, all the time we've spent together on land and at sea. Which, by the way, we need to schedule another Miami yacht day. You've always been there for me. You've always been there for my brother. You come from an amazing family, full of smart, funny, confident, strong, and loving individuals. There was a moment for me when I knew I loved the Naini family. And I've talked about this before, but, it was at a baby shower. This is for you all. So, it was Christmas about 6 years ago, and I worked late, and I couldn't make it up to Prescott for Christmas dinner. I was talking on the phone with Josh, and I told him, I'm not going up to Prescott. And Parveen heard it in the background. She goes, tell Isaac to come over. And so I was like, all right, okay, I'll go. So I hopped in my car, drove over there. It was about a 5-minute drive to their home, which isn't too far from here. I walked in, and everybody just welcomed me with open arms. I was an unexpected guest, and I look over on the table, and there's a gift for me. And it's 5 minutes, Parveen is able to scrounge together a gift. And I was just like, what? This is amazing. And that is when it hit me that Rosha, your family is so amazing, and Parveen, you're so loving. Thank you so much. There was a time about junior year in college where it was no longer just Josh. It was Josh and Rosha. Here we are tonight with Josh and Rosha, celebrating their long and beautiful love story. Josh, you're my best brother and best friend. Sorry, Sal. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Rosha, you're so special to us, and I couldn't think of a better life partner for my brother. Now, I don't know what y'all think, but I think Uncle Isaac has a really nice ring to it. Let's raise our glasses to the next chapter of the Rosha and Josh Chavez love story.
For those of you that don't know me, my name is Hoda, and I am the maid of honor tonight. I am sure you are all dying to know Rosha and I's love story, what tonight really is about. So the story goes something like this. It was a typical Sunday morning with football on in the background, and my dad was doing his run-through of the classifieds for the boats for sale with zero intention of actually buying a boat. But of course, he came across one that he wanted to go check out, and he dragged my mom with him. And you guessed it, the sellers were none other than Rosha's parents. At this point, Rosha was probably the size of an avocado, and I was a chubby, lonely, almost 2-year-old in need of an avocado as a friend. Luckily, that avocado turned into the cutest little Persian girl that would very quickly become inseparable from her Topoli other half. As Rosha's maid of honor tonight, it is my duty to share as much about myself and maybe a little bit about Rosha. And Josh, as you remember, you're not being mentioned. Rosha and I spent most of our weekends doing what most middle school kids were doing, except we were a little bit more creative and eventually smart with how we spent our weekends. To give you an example of our creativity, we had a game called Splish Splash Water Splash. You may be thinking, that makes sense, Arizona, hot summers, a game involving water, but I said we were creative. I didn't say we were that smart, because Splish Splash Water Splash involved zero water. Splish Splash Water Splash was actually a game that involved sliding down a hallway with socks to see who could make it the furthest while yelling, "Splish Splash Water Splash." So feel free to let us know if you guys would like a tutorial tomorrow. Fortunately, as we got older, Rosha and I got a little bit smarter with how we would spend our weekends, and we became frequent quote-unquote guests of the Phoenician Hotel. We would walk from Rosha's parents' house to the hotel to go to the pool, where we would pretend to be guests and enjoy the 5-star hotel for the day. But I would like everyone to know that Rosha and I had to work really hard for these weekends to happen. Because if you know Persian parents, you know they are not about sleepovers. And mine and Rosha's parents were no different. We would spend our evenings trying to convince them to let us sleep over at each other's homes. We would work every night, and every weekend and say, okay, tonight is your night to stay over. My parents let me stay over last weekend. It seems like your parents are in a good mood tonight. I think they're gonna let you spend the night. We started to get so good at convincing our parents because we would get my grandma involved, and she would say, "Velishun kon, bezar ba ham bashan," which basically translates to let the poor kids be together. And let's just say Rosha's parents definitely had a harder time telling my grandma no, so we had become very resourceful. There was one weekend night in particular that I think both Rosha and I will never forget. We were at Rosha's parents' house, and her parents were out for the night, while Solar was supposed to be, quote unquote, watching us. But of course, Solar had other plans. And Solar had gone to a high school party, but made it back just in time before his parents got home. And when Solar got home, he came into Rosha's room while the two of us were just sitting there watching some movie, and he starts going on and on and on about how if any guy ever touches us, he will freaking beat the shit out of them. Solar continued to say those words over and over and over again, while Rosha and I are dying laughing. But here we are now, 20-something years later, and Rosha has found her guy, and he's still alive. So Josh, looks like you're doing something right. All right, shit, Josh, I think there's a paragraph about you in here. Oh my God. I thought I got rid of this one, but it's here, so we're gonna do it. There were a few times when I knew Josh was the one. The first, and questionably the most important, being when I saw his ghair tu kamar, or his ability to shake his hips on the dance floor. As you will all get a chance to see tonight, if you already have not, Josh's hips don't lie. The second time I knew Josh was the one was when we all traveled together, and he made sure to take care of all the heavy lifting for Rosha, but more importantly for me. I will say, the day I really knew Josh was the one for Rosha was when he called me asking what pair of designer shoes to buy her. At that moment, it was clear that Rosha had picked the right guy. Okay, in all seriousness, I truly feel like I have gained another best friend and protective brother. Not that I already didn't have enough of those. For those of you who are unaware, Rosha and I have diagnosed Josh with toxic positivity. No matter what the circumstance, Josh will always have a smile on his face and this pep in his step that Rosha and I pretend to hate, but let's be honest, we would be some grumpy girlies if we didn't have him around. To my gorgeous best friend, I can't believe today is your wedding day. I feel beyond lucky to have watched you grow into this amazing woman that you are. Thank you so much for being my sidekick in life. But let's be real, I'm the sidekick these days. Thank you for teaching me what being a best friend looks like, for explaining to me that it's people's actions that matter and not their words, for showing me how to let loose every now and then, for being my style icon, and finally, for the nonstop laughter. Rosha and I used to say, do you really think we will stay friends all the years that are left of our lives? Will we stay friends through college, through marriage, through kids? Let's try and stay best friends forever. Well, Rosh, we made it. We made it through so many milestones, and there's no questioning it anymore. And now I am certain that the bond we share is one of a lifetime and not based on milestones. I'm going to end with this. Rosha and I usually hate the typical sayings about love and relationships, but I will say there are two that I definitely believe to be true because of the two of you. And those are, marry your dang best friend and the person that brings out the best parts of you. Rosha and Josh, I got no marriage advice for you guys, but honestly, you don't need it. So let's get this party started because I cannot wait to celebrate the two of you. To my best friend marrying her best friend, I love you both. Cheers.
What a speech.